Girish Wankhede is a movie trade analyst. He's joining us along with Dr. Ramachandran Srinivasan, who is a film journalist as well as a filmmaker. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on an important discussion this Friday evening when we generally talk about movies. But we are very interested in the business of making movies. And Girish Wankhede, if you were to consider the percentage of a film budget, any blockbuster in recent times, how much would you say the budget goes to paying the lead actors, if you look at it as a percentage? And do you think that's tenable?
I think the budget of the stars, if they are the A-list stars, it should not be more than or less than almost 60 to 65% of the entire budget of the film.
Yes.
If a film is being made in the budget of say 100 crore, then 50 to 60 crores will be given to the huge star, that is the mega star, and the remaining will be the production budget. Now, after making a film in the production cost, the other cost which is added is the marketing cost. So overall landing of a film which is being made in 100 crores has another 20 to 25 crores as a marketing cost, so it becomes around 130 as crores as a landing cost. So it's huge, and most of the time in recent what we have seen in Eid, while Maidan as well as Bade Miyan Chote Miyan has released, both films have bombed, and most of the time these humongous fees of the stars as well as their marketing budgets are so huge that you can't recover, and that is the story state.
Whether a film makes profit or loss, how much is determined by how much the lead actors have been paid. Dr. Srinivasan, I remember at the height of the pandemic, we were discussing the possible positive fallouts on the cinema business. And one of them was that the movie stars would probably get more realistic with the fees that they demand. We come out of that phase and we seem to be going back, despite the fact that we have OTTs and their content has grown, the breadth of entertainment has grown, the pantheon of stars to a certain extent has grown, and yet the fees that the big guns of the business command, that has not declined. Why do you think that is?
See, primarily, to look at an actor has a huge entourage, which also includes his manager and his agency. But the agencies look at hiking the price of the actor. For a lot of times, you must be reading stories about an ex-actor receiving a certain sum of money, which does not even sound realistic. Okay, now that is a PR activity which is done. Numbers are leaked out, which are not necessarily true, and people are given a figure that this is the kind of money the actor takes. But there are times when people who read the news actually start paying the actor so much. So that, in that sense, so because of that, all these guys have been coming back to the idea of wanting to take that much money, pandemic or no pandemic. They want their pound of flesh, and that's why they've gone back to the bad old days. You have 12 to 13
But the
people,
agencies are not a new phenomenon, are they?
but the agency is hiking the fees to make it unrealistic. Plus, having an entourage. I mean, a
Yes.
very big leading actress in Bollywood was offered a role in a South film, and suddenly they realized that they could make the rest of the film with the money they're paying the entourage.
I was looking at the kind of payouts that a producer has to contend with when it comes to shoots, for promotions, etc. The entire entourage you were talking about, that bill can go up sizably by even one change of an outfit that the star has thrown a tantrum about, or even palatial vacations for the entire family of the star on a shoot. All this goes into the film's budget. So, Mr. Wankhede, is this phenomenon unique to India? Have we created these gobbling monsters out of our favorite stars? Is that something that is unique to us? Because the size and proportion of growth in terms of fees and what a producer ends up paying and makes part of the entire film's budget, that seems to be going, hitting the roof and beyond.
Because after the film is completed, when we go for the film release, there is something called as star visits or city tours, where a star visit to at least 8 to 10 locations to promote their film. Now when a star is visiting, he will have his business manager, his boy, his hairstylist, his makeup man, his digital marketing guy, his social media guy, his cameraman, his bodyguard. So much of people are there, and if you just combine every cost which comes with these all entourage or their entire crew, it will go to such an extent that with one star visit, it is not the money which is less than 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs. So if we are talking about another 5 to 6 city tours, it goes in crores. So most of the time, in addition to the star cast or the crew, they also ask for private jets, private helicopters. Most of the time they also get joined by their family members. So such extravagant costs are adding to the entire landing cost of the film, and that is something which is painstakingly taking the adverse effect on the in the space of filmmaking.
And taking the debate on the other side, if we were to pull out all the higher costs that are involved in having these stars in our films, larger than life is a theme that we've all been accustomed to, even in our growing up years, when things weren't in the proportion that they are when you talk about actor fees. Now, this larger than life in this kind of scenario, the kind of social media space that we live in, to create that around our biggest stars becomes a must to some extent, would you say?
See, when Dilip Kumar signed to Bata, he was given 11 rupees as his salary. And they all used to work in a studio where they were paid monthly salary. That, when the moment the studio system moved out and people started becoming independent, producers started getting independent, uh, they suddenly realized that, the actors were in control. Then, yet again, when this new studio system came in, with, when UTV, Warner, Fox, and everybody started coming in, they started paying a higher figure to get the actor on board. That is when they almost destroyed the small and medium producers of this industry. They were completely out. And Akshay Kumar or Shah Rukh who would do a film with a smaller producer, they could never afford them again because the prices had already gone up. Girish was correct when he said, when he listed a list of people, and I can actually add a couple of names. The trainer, they have a personal cook or a nutritionist who comes with them to cook. They take the gym along with them. The moment you start doing this, you are only making the Frankenstein much bigger than what you can even handle.
Yes. So the Frankenstein has become that much bigger. But tell me what happens, Mr. Wankhede, when these big ticket films, like you mentioned one, I think, Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, when these films fail at the box office, what happens then? Do the stars learn a lesson? They reduce fees? Or is the producer the one who's just absorbing these losses? Things are going back to exactly where they were. In fact, the stars' fees are going up without a reason. In fact, the flop has not changed things. They have gone higher even.
Exactly, they are not learning from their mistakes or their charges. If you see, this was all talked about and discussed and debated just after the pandemic, that there will be some salary correction or the remuneration correction, but it didn't happen. Again, we have got the remunerations of the stars which is skyrocketing, and films are not at all doing great. If a film of the stature of Bade Miyan Chote Miyan is made with a budget of 300 to 350 crores, and if that opening figures is less than 20 crores, what is the use of paying such a huge amount to the star? If a film of a stature of Maidan, which is being made in 100 crores, if that film makes the first day collection of less than 10 crores, it simply means your star films as well as your budget films. So the producer has to think wisely, that they have to make it sure that the star has to be paid reasonably, then the production cost has to be reasonably paid, and also when they are promoting the film, while promotion also, all these uh, paraphernalia which comes with the star has to be reduced. And in spite of all this understanding and explanation, it is still there. It's a sorry state. Still, the prices or the fees is skyrocketing. But when there are some exceptions also. If a film like Pushpa is being made with a budget of 500 crores, and if it is guaranteed to make around 1000 or 1500 crores, then it makes sense. Otherwise, a film like Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, if it bombs, then the huge loss is borne by producer.
Hassan, do weigh in on this. If we are going to continue with this kind of trend, what's the ultimate fallout? In terms of pure economics, this doesn't seem sustainable because how much higher are you going to keep going? We thought that other entertainment, when it comes in a big way, when there are choices, the kind of bankability of these stars would perhaps reduce to a certain extent. And like Mr. Wankhede is saying, we would be looking at being a little more reasonable, at least the producers would. But if we don't, what is the price that we pay?
The first and foremost thing is, movie scripts are actually supposed to break the glass ceiling. But so you can only see the star prices hitting the roof and nothing beyond that. We don't have good films happening. Why? Because a lot of money is actually going to the actor rather than into the script. And when we come out of a film, we are only talking about the star. We are not talking about the story. There are few films in recent times where we have a big star, which has also been called a good film. Unfortunately, and for such films to be made, an actor has to take a cut. I remember Ayushmann Khurrana had actually cut his fees from 25 crores to 15 crores and was taking a profit share for a while for the last few films of his. But having said that, is 15 crores also the right payment for an Ayushmann Khurrana film? Or should they also try and work on a profit sharing system with everybody, who, especially when they take large chunks of money? That possibly is something that producers and studios should try and enforce. But that doesn't seem likely, because if one producer is doing that, the other producer doesn't want to do that because he wants to make his film. Films are actually a passion. People have sold houses, they've sold their property.
Exactly. So the ability of a producer to make more films in the future, make films that would have a larger appeal, would have that much more of a newer cast as well, where opportunities grow, it doesn't seem like a very sustainable model. And for any business, when we're looking at operationability of the business, the scaling up of a business, you need to ensure that costs remain low. And for that, if Bollywood is not going to understand this at this point in time, we'd have a huge price to pay in the future. And that is the larger takeaway. Mr. Wankhede, Dr. Srinivasan, appreciate you joining us with your perspective on this discussion here on this edition of Business at 9.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.